Welcome back, YouTube. It is still Thursday morning. Still trying to answer the question, where the fuck did Wednesday go? Yeah, my sleep schedule's all kinds of whack, but hey, it should make for a good weekend. It really should. Just finished up shopping at the downtown Fry's. I really like this grocery store. 7:15 in the morning, by the way, which means that my storage has been open for the last 15 minutes. So probably a good time for me to go and work on crushing cans. Just wondering if I have my... You know what? I just realized I left my jacket at Amazon. Ooh, and I just found a leaky pin in the pocket of my GYR3 hoodie. Oh yes, it definitely leaked in the hoodie. Not bad. Fortunately, this is a black hoodie, so the black ink is... You gotta really look to see where it leaked, but... Oh, that sucks! That sucks. In fact, I don't even want this in my car. I don't want to litter with the thing, but it's not a trash can like walking distance from me either. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't want that leaky pen to make any more mess of anything else. All right, I do have my. It's a little chilly out, but I have my GYR3 hoodie with me, the black one, with an extra black spot where near the pocket. So yeah, I'll be good to go do work on some recycling, work on organizing my storage a little bit this morning while it's nice out. This is definitely my favorite time to work on that, between 7 a.m. when the gate opens and... It's hard to say the time, and to be honest, the time sort of changes. I gotta get my validated parking thingy out of my pocket. I think without validation or a resident permit, it's pretty expensive to park here. Insert your ticket with the barcode facing up. I think it goes in that hole. Thank you, robot. I have no idea what the penalty is for sticking it in the wrong hole right there, but I know the so-called girlfriend hates it when I do that. So she gets very upset about it. Not that I ever really get it in the wrong hole, but you know, if I get anywhere close, she's upset. Yeah, I really like this grocery store. Every time I shop here, I find myself wanting to shop here more. Hell of a blind corner right there with the sidewalk coming out. But, yeah, it's always ease out just like that. Make sure I'm not flattening a pedestrian on the sidewalk as I come out. Wow, and I am going the wrong way. I've done this before. Can I turn right here? No right turn, no left turn. Why put up two signs when you can have a sign that says no turns? Can I turn right or left here? I could have turned left if I was in the left lane, but I'm in the right lane, so I screwed that up too. God damn it. I've done that before, where I've come out that... You can come out that parking garage on Washington Street, you can come out it on Jefferson Street, and I've come out it on Washington Street before, although at least this time I realized right away, it's like, hey, I'm driving away from home, whereas sometimes I get about as far as like, it's like, ooh, there's the city of Phoenix courthouse, and why the hell am I going this way? That felt like I wasn't supposed to do that turn, but I think it's okay. They've changed this area so much. Like, there's so many streets that used to be one-way streets that aren't one-way streets anymore, including but not limited to this one. Yeah, I'm on 3rd Avenue headed north, and yeah, 3rd Avenue used to be one way headed northbound. But now there's southbound traffic on it, so that kind of stuff messes with my brain more than a little bit. All right, we got the rapid buses coming in on the left. It's the I-17 rapid bus dropping off. Yeah, I really wish those express buses and those rapid buses went both ways instead of just into downtown in the morning and out of downtown in the afternoon. Because they go back to where they pick up. Like once they drop off here downtown in the morning, they go back to where they pick up on wherever it is in the fringes, and then they come back in, and they go back empty. So, like, whoa! Oh my God, I almost got hit by a forklift. That's a big, crazy kind of forklift, too. Wow. That guy should know, as a forklift operator, anytime you're rolling forks forward, you're supposed to be beeping. And I think in that sort of a situation, he should be rolling with forks trailing. Really, dude? I got a green light and you're in the crosswalk. Pretty sure that's one of those situations where that guy should have been coming out forks trailing. Wow, we're two-way. This street's two-way all the way now. Last time I went down this street, I'm pretty sure this was a one-way street. In the direction I'm headed. 3rd Street is always traditionally, well, I don't know about always, but for as long as I can remember, and I'm talking like since the late 1980s, I said 3rd Street, I meant 3rd Avenue. 3rd Avenue, coming out of downtown, going north, has always been one-way northbound, and 5th Avenue is one-way southbound. And that's always extended all the way to Thomas Road, so all the way through the Willow neighborhood. So few single-family houses left here, and the ones that are here, I think they're all designated as historic buildings. So many new buildings. Like all this stuff on the right and the left is all new. Like I'm not even sure if we still own that house is old, but all these new high-rises and mid-rises. I mean, it's good to see density happening in downtown Phoenix. I just got some really mixed feelings about it. All right, so it starts a one-way here. This has changed so much since I've gone through here. At least driven through here. I feel like I've gone through this since they've changed it on the rapid bus. But I don't feel like I've driven this before. And I totally don't want to be going out of downtown this way. I meant to completely go out eastbound, but now I'm kind of on this adventure and I'm driving it just to experience it and see all the new buildings. And new stoplight poles, like that's new. That light in front of me is new. It's so weird how I got the two lights on the right, red lights in the shape of a bicycle to indicate that's a bicycle. The sign says bicycle signal. That's a red light for bicycles. When I'm on a bicycle, generally I don't believe there is such a thing as a red light for bicycles, but that's kind of why a lot of motorists hate cyclists. So there you go. And definitely a designated scooter parking spot on the right. That one looks insanely cluttered. I got some really good pictures of some of them when I was juicing for Lime in San Diego. And their scooter parking spots like that. The ones in Phoenix were kind of modeled after the ones in San Diego. And the ones in San Diego were bigger and would get even more crowded than that. And I remember one time I think I was just dropping off one, maybe two scooters, serving for Lime in San Diego, and I bumped into another scooter and knocked every single one in the damn designated scooter parking area. Knocked every single one of them down like dominoes, just, and I could have really easily just parked the two that I was parking, angled my photo for Lime so it just showed them, So when it comes to framing photos, like I kind of get the concept of, telling a different story than what the real story is by what you do and don't have in frame. And I could have easily framed that photo in such a way that you saw two Lime scooters perfectly parked in what was obviously a designated scooter parking spot in downtown San Diego, and gone about my way and left all those other scooters on the ground. I could have done that. I really could have. That's so weird. Only one northbound lane here. This used to be 3 northbound lanes for car traffic. Whoa, and that's a parking lane on the right. Oh, that is so bizarre how this is now. The house formerly known as the Willow House Coffee Shop on the right. We've got that guy turning right, cutting off pedestrians at the parking in the crosswalk, including dogs. That guy in the car cut off a dog. How rude. Yeah, it used to be the Willow House on the right, and then for quite a while it was called Hobnob. Called going there with Priscilla a couple of. I think I can turn right on the red here. With Priscilla a couple of times to. Now it's called Bar A Vin, or Vin, V-A-R, one word, the letter A, and then V-I-N, third word. I have no idea what that is. I did notice that Hobnob had closed, but yeah, it hasn't been the Willow House for a long, long time. But it was the Willow House for a very long time. And I mean, back in the 90s, and a lot of, I could tell so many stories of me in the Willow House, and hooking up with young, cute goth girls that I met or met up with at the Willow House. I miss the Willow House. Now, with Priscilla, I had gone there since it had kind of reformed as, they were calling it Hobnobs. I felt it was very pricey for what it was, but they did have a really good pesto pizza, and pesto pizza is not a common thing, so sometimes I'm willing to pay more for a treat like that. That I can't really, it's like, you gotta indulge yourself every now and then, even though it generally I'm not about paying that much for food. Speaking of getting indulging yourself on food and getting a hell of a deal, so yeah, I love doing my grocery shopping between like 6 and 7 in the morning. So I've realized that's when they put out like all the stuff that's discounted and reduced and clearance in a bunch of the different sections. Now, I've never found much of it at that Fry's, which is why I generally go to the one that's close to home. But I like going to that one just because when traffic is really bad on my morning commute home from Amazon, if I end up... That guy straight up ran the red light. Did y'all see that? I had a green light. That guy didn't even slow down for his right turn. I love Phoenix drivers. And that's where I went through the Cancer Survivors Park to vote. To vote on, I want to say, Tuesday morning. I think Election Day was Tuesday morning. It was just to vote for my city council member. The guy I voted for lost. So, which, whatever. Hey, at least I voted. Guy I voted for lost by a wide margin. Hey. At least I voted. To be fair, I looked at the materials from the other guy who did win. I think his name was Robinson. The guy's got a lot of experience in law enforcement. I think that's a good thing. Generally speaking, I really liked all the points of Robinson, but what kind of got me to vote the other direction was that the other guy, whose name I don't remember, was he was a former staff member for Sal DiCiccio, and Sal DiCiccio has been one of the few conservative voices of reason on the Phoenix City Council in recent years. And Robinson, at least in the article I read on AZ Family, Robinson claims to be, or at least they claim that he is, closely aligned with Mayor Kate Gallego and her agenda. And I've think I've made it very clear on this vlog for quite some time that I am not a fan of Mayor Kate. So that was enough for me to go, no, I'm voting for the other guy. But this was actually one of those odd elections where I didn't feel like I was picking the lesser of two evils. I was choosing between a guy that has a lot of things that I find positive with him, but one thing that's a huge red flag for me and I can't go with, and another guy that I really didn't know much about, but was from Sal DeCicio's staff and seemed to be wanting to, I'm not sure where they're honking on. Oh, they're honking at that guy. There was a guy blocking the left turn lane, not going on the left green arrow, but he was like 3 car lengths before the crosswalk, which to me is even stupider than blocking the crosswalk, even though it does inconvenience pedestrians in the same way. It's just stupid. Anyway, I wasn't even going to talk about that. I just looked and I was like, oh, there's Cancer Survivor Park. I actually just drove through that a couple days ago. It's not something at a place where I hardly drive ever. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm feeling good. I'm not one of those kinds that when the party I didn't, or when the candidate I didn't vote for gets elected, that I just am hating life about it. I stand back and see what happens. I voted. I was able to weigh in and do my part as a resident of Phoenix District 6, and now to sit back and see what Robinson does. At least the fact that he comes from a law enforcement and even more specifically a Phoenix Police Department point of view, I want to believe that maybe he'll try to do something about the sharply increasing homelessness in District 6, particularly in Pierce Park and in my goddamn alley, and along the old Crosscut Canal greenbelt. Hopefully he'll try to do something about that. It didn't seem like Sal DeCicio was getting much done about it, but then again, he's been kind of a minority on the city council, and I'm sure, like in the last year, he probably wasn't trying so hard because he knew he was term limited. So, anyway, yeah, I'm okay with I forget his first name, but Robinson getting elected in the city council for my district. Anyway, before I noticed that, like, ooh, there's the little side street through a interesting park full of monuments to the library, which is where I voted at. I was noting that one of the reasons I really like grocery shopping in the early morning is that's when the clearance items are getting put on the shelves, and I've kind of got it down to a science, like where I find those clearance items at the Fry's over there in Arcadia Crossing. But the downtown one, I don't, that's generally not what I'm looking for when I go there, because I haven't really noticed. Well, today I figured out where the bakery stuff gets put, and I actually saw the gal putting it on there, and I think I made her feel awkward because I'm like, ooh, that's what I want. And I'm like, you know what? I need a loaf of bread. I'm going to go get my loaf of bread while you finish up. She's like, thank you. But check it out. For only $3.89, regular price would have been, it doesn't say, it usually says. Oh, yeah. Marked down from $8.49. And then they had an additional savings with the Fry's VIP card of $7.49, but I got it today reduced for $3.89. Iced angel food cake. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Kind of feel guilty buying that and having it by myself. That's certainly the sort of cake I should share with somebody, but whoever would that be? The other thing I got, and I've never noticed clearance stuff in that particular restaurant before, and as I was talking about, like splurging money on like the pesto pizza at Hobnobs, I've pretty much given up on the fresh deli wraps and prepared sandwiches at that Fry's, just because they're usually super expensive. And again, I don't see what the regular price was on this sandwich, but I want to say it was probably like $7. It's normally, well, it's actually a wrap, not a sandwich, but you know what I'm saying. But fresh made wrap. Now, granted, it was fresh made yesterday, but still sell by 3/17/23. And what's today's date? 3/16. So see, it's still plenty fresh. This is going to be delicious. Kind of be my late breakfast, early lunch, whatever. Next meal. I don't eat on traditional meal times. I don't live a traditional schedule. I did get one of my little bean burritos from the food truck though on my way out of Amazon. Almost missed him. Almost kind of got sidetracked by some other stuff on my way out, and he was in the process of closing up shop. But happy to take my $2 and get me a deep fried burrito, and it was delicious as always. But anyway, I got a caprese turkey wrap with spinach tortilla, golden roasted turkey breast, tomato spread, mozzarella cheese, lettuce, and cream cheese. These are so freaking good. I just, being on the budget I am, I just can't generally bring myself to pay $7 for one of these. But $2.95 reduced because I just happened to show up at that time of the morning. Yes, please. Oh, so good time shopping. I bought quite a bit there. Yeah, that's actually, I think, the most grocery shopping I've ever done on that Fry's, at that Fry's ever, especially in the morning. But in fact, at one point I had to stop what I was doing and figure out where to get a shopping cart. And I've never really noticed that before because generally speaking, I never buy enough to need a shopping cart there. But I grabbed a couple things. You know, when I said I was going in for bologna, they were out of bar ass bologna. That's the one thing I said I was going in to get that I didn't get. But damned if I'm paying 2 to 3 times as much for the other brand of bologna when bar ass is actually kind of my preferred brand of bologna. It's on sale right now too, so I can catch it at the other Fry's. Because generally speaking, when I see a sale price at Fry's is good at every Fry's. I think that's how it works with Fry's. Now a sale price like that's very store specific. But as far as like sale prices showing on the because the tag was there showing it on sale, just the bologna wasn't there. So that price should be good at the Fry's by my place, and that should be available. By the way, we've got a spin scooter directly in front of me. I would imagine Circle K doesn't like people leaving them there, but most people who use rental scooters, unfortunately, are not really good about parking them where they should. So, kind of blocking the ice, just kind of, I want to say blocking the walkway, but not blocking the walkway so much. I'm at the last parking spot here, and but yeah, sort of blocking blocking cubed iced freezer. But anyway, I'm on my way. I want to get my sip and save drink for this morning. Kind of a gloomy day. I should check the forecast before I get too committed to working on my recycling at my storage, because I definitely don't want to get caught in the rain. But it's nice and cool out. And it's coming up on summer. Summer in Phoenix just comes up and just kicks you in the ass when you least expect it. And yeah, it's kind of middle of March, but sometimes summer arrives in Phoenix right at the beginning of May, and it doesn't let up until October. Which, if you're not from here, probably sounds insane. But if you've spent any time in Phoenix and a full summer in Phoenix, you know what I'm talking about. So, while it's still not too brutally hot to be working on my recycling, I need to be working on my recycling and my other stuff in my storage. So, I'm gonna quit talking to myself for a minute. Go inside, get my safe drink. I'm amazingly thirsty right now. So, I'll be back though with more. So, yeah, hang out for that. And I'm back. Pretty quick little trip into Circle K. Got myself a Mountain Dew, which is not something I normally get early in the morning, but being that I work graveyards, like the words today, tomorrow, and yesterday kind of take on different meanings. I'm still getting thumbs up and responses to me saying that in the Amazon FC. I don't forget what the subject was on, but there's always the night shift people chiming in with night shift shit. And I got a surprising amount of thumbs up. I'm still getting responses to that in the Amazon FC subreddit. But yeah, like normally on a Thursday, by the way, it's Thursday, March 16th, 2023, 7:45 a.m. Normally at 7:45 a.m. on a Thursday morning, it is actually late Wednesday night for me. Oh, and of course I gotta remember when I put in my adjust my PTO VTO so I don't go negative on UPT on my A to Z Amazon app. I gotta remember that if I do decide to make the adjustment after midnight, that A to Z also considers it to be a late Friday night as opposed to an early Thursday morning, and that I need to put the adjustment for March 15th, even though it was technically March 16th by the time I got there today. Anyway, so yeah, normally like what I would be experiencing right now would be this would be my late Wednesday night. But, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where the fuck Wednesday went. But this is definitely a Thursday morning for me. I'm definitely on the Thursday morning trip right now. And I don't know what I'm doing for entertainment tonight. What I really want to do, as per usual, is go to she's cute. Is go to Wander Inn for karaoke. But I really don't want to go to Wander Inn for karaoke with Priscilla for fear that it end up like I probably pissed off the guy in that Nissan. They turned left completely into the right lane as I was turning out into the right lane. Would have been really debatable who had the right of way there, but I just had to get out in the street, assert dominance over my lane. The person turning right or turning left is supposed to turn left into the left lane, not the right lane. She had to hurry up and get on that freeway. And why am I whispering like Joe Biden? I don't know. It's about equally creepy when I do it, though. I should stop. So anyway, no, I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want to be there with her and have it end up like it did. Like, you have a repeat of Friday night, because Friday night ended up being a really miserable thing for me. Not overall. Actually, to be honest, Friday night was pretty freaking cool. It was Saturday morning and Saturday that sucked, just to be completely clear. Yeah, Friday night, and I'm watching my vlogs from last week as I'm in the process of uploading them. I'm a little less than a week behind right now. And, ooh, we got a puddle on the bridge here. Let's make a splash. Whee! I dig this building on the right here. This is an old school. I want to say it's Garfield Commons Apartment Homes, which I do believe is actually a affordable housing, rent controlled, owned by the city kind of community. But it's an old elementary school, so it's got a lot of things I'm into, all wrapped in one. Historic architecture, repurposing of historic architecture for a new purpose, affordable housing, although I'd much rather it be through the free market than government functionally projects. But, you know, hey, affordable housing needs to be where oh my God. Whoa. Speaking of historic buildings and repurposing and whatnot, there's a historic church building over there that I don't think has a functional church in it anymore, because that's a thing a lot these days. And it looks like somebody plowed their car into the goddamn thing, and it is very much a historic building. Hey, it's alright, you get to see me driving through this neighborhood. This isn't a neighborhood I drive through very often. And prices, and a decade ago I could have bought a house in this neighborhood if I had my shit more together. Now prices of homes in this neighborhood have shot through the roof. And while this area is still kind of borderline hood, it's gentrifying in a big way, as you can kind of tell by some of the types of cars that are parked on the side of the road. Anyway, I'd have been happy living here when it was still completely hood, but now that it's gentrifying, it's even cooler, aside from the fact that it's completely unaffordable for me now. I think, is this still considered the Garfield neighborhood? I don't think it is. Oh, yes, it most certainly is. There we go. Garfield Historic District. Anyway, I want to get some video of this church. Somebody plowed into this historic church building over on 16th Street. Anyway, that's one of those old neighborhoods in Phoenix I just absolutely love. I love the architecture here. Not so fond of these rough old cement streets, but I do like the nice wide sidewalks, which are separated from the curb and away from the road, and the tree-lined streets, mostly lined with palm trees. That is such a Phoenix thing, and I love it. And just the unique architecture of every house. There's some asshole in a big truck parked on the wrong side of the road. That's just, you know, valley-wide here. Yeah, I find that annoying wherever I find it. I would love it if a couple of cops just started making that their thing. I'm just driving around and issuing tickets. I'm not sure if I'm blocking the guy behind me's driveway. I want to step out and take a quick peek at that. I'm not, but I'm pushing that envelope, and I am straight up 2 inches away from that guy's front bumper who's parked the wrong direction. But I'm going to say that I fit. I'm going to say I fit in this parking spot, and since I'm not planning on leaving my car here for any major length of time, I'm just going to go ahead and park right now. And I do stand corrected. It does appear that this church is still in use. This is definitely their private parking. There's definitely some people parked in it. Yeah, this does still seem to be a functional church. Definitely a Spanish church. Iglesia Adventista del... And my eyes just went completely out of focus, and now I can't read it. Seventh-day Adventists? Am I getting the translation on that right? Seventh-day Advents? Seventh-day Adventists? Anyway, look at this shit. So yeah, they've got this black fence with the spikes to keep the homeless people out. Which, as I recall, that fence went along here, and somebody completely plowed through it and just smashed the shit out of this. Wow. Yeah, that's what I was... You probably couldn't see that when I was saying, holy shit, as I was driving. But, wow. Look at that. I'm a little disappointed to find out that it's just wood and plaster. I always assumed this was brick here, but... Yeah, they smashed the crap out of that. Probably also destroyed those windows. And somehow also smashed the crap out of that. Which apparently isn't part of the structure of the building. I had always assumed this was brick. I'm surprised to see that it's wood with plaster on it. So this is just... I always figured that was brick and was part of the structure of the building. But it's actually just decorative, the way that piece came out, and the way the piece next to it comes out, and the one next to it there comes out. But yeah, apparently smashed those 3 windows out, smashed the shit out of that pillar, and really smashed the shit out of that pillar. So So I really, really, really hope. That window apparently has been boarded up for a while. And that window's knocked out. That's an open hole right there. I really hope whoever did that got caught and had insurance, and that it wasn't a hit and run or a situation that happens all too often here in Phoenix, where somebody got into an accident with a stolen vehicle and just ditched the stolen vehicle, crammed into the side of the building. That actually happened in my apartment complex of the building right there on the corner at 46th and Oak. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously a local Spanish neighborhood church. I would imagine they don't have much of a budget to go about rebuilding that. So hopefully whoever is responsible for it has some insurance and can put it back together, because that's pretty wild, crazy shit. I was thinking, like, how do you have to be driving? And amazingly, it doesn't look like they hit the bus shelter. Either that or the city of Phoenix replaced the bus shelter quickly. That's possible. That is a new style bus shelter there. But certainly the first time I've noticed this being smashed up. Of course, now looking at the chain link fence, apparently it's been this way for a little while. But wow, it's pretty hardcore. So, corner of 16th Street in Garfield. This is not an area that I get out and walk very much. This is a funny part of town because it's very much the hood, and there's a lot of things around here that scream hood. In fact, I'm very near what is known as the Dupavia Projects. It's funny I should find myself down here by the Dupavia Projects, considering the videos I've been shooting recently, because it wasn't that long ago that I took one of my vlogs. This is kind of neat. It's the first time I've seen somebody do this other than me, where somebody parked Lime scooters and used the new chain locks on them to lock it to a street sign, like that one that I did over by my apartment, which I don't think has moved yet. Anyway, yeah, the other day I was driving down. I do remember I was shooting my vlog as I was driving out of. I'm trying to remember where I was. Oh, I remember now. It's all coming. So why was I shooting video there? I remember now. So yeah, I was up, weird hours, alone, lonely, bored, and driving around talking to myself. Just another average day. And I found myself following a Waymo car that was completely empty and driving itself, but didn't have like a, I guess the term would be driver, but the drivers in the Waymo cars aren't actually driving. They're just sitting there watching the controls and ready to drive if needed. But yeah, this was 100% self-driving car, completely unoccupied. And I followed it south on, in fact, I followed down this street here. Followed it south on 16th Street. I guess I was on 16th Street very recently, come to think of it. I do get over here from time to time. This is not a street I'm on like every day, but I do get here kind of regularly. I'm not far from home. Anyway, so I was following the Waymo. It was at night down here, and I ended up making a left on Grant Street. And I remember commenting that once upon a time, had a guy try to kill me after the Dan Fogelberg concert at that location, because he was angry that I had banged his girlfriend. And on more than one occasion, I might add. This woman never mentioned anything about a boyfriend to me. Anyway, one of the places that we had kind of got together and done our thing was Dupavia Projects, which were right here on the left. But now we've got some kind of fancy, nice looking apartments on the left. That used to be all Dupavia on the left. Named after this street, I think, or this street was named after them. This is Via Street, which runs at a kind of an oddball angle. Wow, I've not come down Via in a long time. These are all new buildings on the left. Ah, there we go. There's good old-fashioned Dupavia. Oh, it looks like they're shutting those down. Ooh, and this is all marked no parking on this street. Well, that's lame. Wow, it looks like Dupavia is no more. Well, I'm glad I came by here so I could capture this on video. Sorry, Phoenix has been my home for over 50 years, and I know it so well. But sometimes things changes happen, and I don't get the memo. So, all of these streets are marked with no parking signs, which I'm sure is just at this point to discourage homeless people from living in their cars on it, SUVs. Because yeah, you used to always be able to park on Via Street, which is the street I'm on. And also on that street I just passed to the right, I'm all the way to 20th Street. Oh yeah, they're eliminating all of Dupavia. Wow, I am so glad I came by here. All right, there's parking on the right. I'm gonna park on the right. This is turning into I wasn't expecting to have much of anything of a vlog today, and this is kind of turning into something. So I'm at 20th Street in Via. So urban renewal, what we're seeing in real time here. These are all new going in here. God, this used to be just historically one of the worst neighborhoods in Phoenix. But these look like pretty nice apartments going in here. Next to what used to be, I forget the name of that hospital, but it's been closed for quite some time. I want to say that used to be Phoenix General Hospital, there in the distance. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments section. But I think that was, no, never mind. That was Phoenix St. Luke's. It's all coming back to me now. That's Phoenix St. Luke's there in the distance. But yeah, these are brand new going in. Now I'm not very impressed with the architecture. The whole pack and stack, build it out of sticks thing, to me goes against the sensibilities and the lessons learned in the stories of the Three Little Pigs. I don't like to see buildings that big built out of sticks. But new buildings going in nonetheless. We've got this whole block, pretty much everything that used to be there is gone. It's fenced off. Apparently putting more of those in. These buildings on the right, as I'm heading northbound on 20th Street, these are all brand new. It's like 20th Street got a road diet and some different stripes. 20th Street used to be parking on both sides, 4 lanes, 2 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound. For no real reason, because it hasn't been a through street in a long time. Now, the 4 lanes on 20th Street made sense in the 1970s and 1980s when 20th Street went northbound all the way to Thomas from here. But when the I-10 got built around 1990 and the short stack got built, 20th Street got cut off. And so, yeah, the extra lanes on 20th Street haven't made sense since. So yeah, kind of nice to see that they've added a bike lane here. Now, it looks like they've also added a bike lane here. But people are clearly treating it as a parking lane. So we got a no parking sign. And we've got all of these assholes here parking in the bike lane. A whole row of cars, all parked in the bike lane. The only sign I saw with any indication of what's up with the parking on the street was that one right back there. It said no parking. Yeah, it says no parking here up ahead too. Ooh, no parking. God, how many cars do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. 8 cars in a lane that's all clearly marked as no parking. Now here it says fire lane, no parking by order of fire marshal, Phoenix City Code, and they have the red curb there. And here they've got no parking, like repeated signs and a red curb, and people are honoring and recognizing that by not parking where it says fire lane, no parking. But then this here is also clearly a bike lane, and people are parking in it. There were definitely no parking signs there, so it really pisses me off when I see people parked in bike lanes. What's up, kitty? That cat just doing its best to ignore me. So yeah, this looks to be all that's left of Dupavia. These were projects. It's a housing project. I don't really know all the details of it. You know, was that HUD? Was that Phoenix Housing Authority? Something else? I don't know. And these are projects that have been here certainly since the 1970s, maybe earlier. It didn't really become something that I was intimately familiar with until, I want to say, as you see, there were walkways and paths that went through it. Wow, and judging from how overgrown it is, these have been closed for quite some time. Look how many weeds and stuff have grown right through the driveway here. This is wild. I've driven by here, but I haven't gone here. Wow, and even the fire hydrants are shut down here. Wow, and look at this. This was new-ish. You can see where this was the original walkway, which of course had a step going into the downstairs apartment. And of course you can see the metal door. This was very much the hood. And I think it still kind of is, but boy, these sure look nice across the street, Imperial. So maybe even this neighborhood's really getting gentrified now. But yeah, and Dupavia was pretty hood when it was built, and this was a scary place to be in the 1990s, for sure. But it looks like at some point they improved it by adding this walkway, which is ADA compliant and doesn't have a step going to the door of the downstairs apartment. Same kind of thing there. Yeah, looking at how much weed growth is here, and how the paths have just, nature's kind of reclaiming these paths, because there's a whole bunch of these pathways like that go through the complex. Apparently it's been fenced off and uninhabited for a while. I had no idea. Yeah, you can see that walkway is completely overgrown. Wow. I'm glad I decided it would be fun to drive through here. I was still thinking about that story. I wish I could remember that girl's name. Now that I'm here in Dupavia, and the other day I was over by where her boyfriend, that apparently she didn't consider to be too much of a boyfriend, or she wouldn't have been giving it up to me. There you see where somebody pried the bars out the window to get into it, right there. Now I always find it funny that people live in projects, that people who live in projects like Dupavia have the money for DirecTV. To me, it just seems like some misplaced priorities. Like, yeah, I live in the projects, but hey, I got DirecTV, I got satellite TV. I guess people are free to spend their money on whatever the hell they want to. It just seems whack that somebody living in the projects, government subsidized housing, has satellite TV. And then look how many satellite dishes we got here. One there, and got 3 I can see on the left. All these people they were living in this government subsidized, not all of them, but a whole lot of people living in this government subsidized housing. Oh. Yeah, I don't know which is worse. Seeing this, like, it's all fenced off, so I can't go in there. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not going to. But it's so trippy seeing it all overgrown now, with the grass, so lush and nature kind of reclaiming it and pretty yellow flowers. And then in my mind's eye, I'm seeing what it was the last time I actually walked through that path, which would have been as a cab driver looking for a passenger and keeping my head on a swivel because I'm not trying to get mugged while I'm walking through Dupavia, which is sketchy as fuck. And there was no lawn there. That was just all dirt. Just all dirt. Some weeds growing in places, but for the most part, just all dirt. More DirecTV dishes. There you can see by the angle of the street light. And no, that's not just me holding my camera crooked. It is really that crooked. Yeah, it's not really a lawn. It's just a bunch of weeds growing. But hey, at least it's green. Now, what the hell does that say? Let me zoom in on it and read it. I can't make it out. Luke Crone? City of Phoenix, Luke Crone, something? Maybe this had a different name, but everybody I knew called it Dupavia, including the dispatch for both yellow cab. Oh, yeah, see, I told you I could get in there. There's an opening. People have been going in there for sure. I'm sure there's some people squatting in there right now as I speak. Damn, those weeds are huge. I'm bet any amount of money there's some people squatting in there right now. Gosh, these ones over here look like they were painted recently, though. They look nice. And then that one there, all tagged up, looking like shit. And more of the pathways, overgrown. Yeah, these were some of Phoenix's most infamous projects. When people talk about living in the projects in Phoenix, they were talking about this place. But wow, so wild to see it like this. On the corner of, I want to say 18th Street in Via. And I was right, St. Luke's Medical Center. And this has been closed for quite some time. I just found it interesting how they made that curb super rounded for traffic coming from the hospital, be able to make a smooth right-hand turn on the Via and go out on 20th Street. And yeah, this place has been closed for quite some time. That sign's looking pretty sad. Behavioral Health Center. That's the only thing that's still legible on that sign. Everything else is whited out. Still see the helicopter pad. That's looking pretty fly. As a cab driver for AAA cab in the late 90s, I picked up and dropped off a lot of people here. At that time, driving for AAA cab, non-emergency medical transportation was what we did the most of. And I was one of the drivers. Only the pilot may clear you onto the heliport. Do not approach helicopter until rotors have stopped. Yeah, I don't imagine there will be any helicopters stopping there. In fact, I half expect to get fucked with by security just for walking here, but I haven't walked past any no trespassing signs or any or gone across any fences that I'm not supposed to cross. I could just act like a complete tool if I see security and ask him where the emergency room is and tell him I ain't feeling so good. God, empty hospitals are such a creepy thing. So yeah, some serious urban renewal going on in this area, as that which used to be here is decaying. I don't get any vibes off of this building that anybody has any plans of renovating it and making it a hospital or anything else. I suppose it's just a matter of time until this gets the wrecking ball. You see on those rooms where they used to, those are hospital rooms. where they had patios where you could go out of your room and actually stand on the patio. There's a sign, St. Luke's Medical Center. Glad I remembered that right. Because I have a bad habit of forgetting the names of things and conflating the names of things with the names of other things. But yeah, I believe this was the main entrance right here. This is so trippy, seeing it so deserted like this. I see some cameras, but I wonder if anybody's
And welcome back,
actually watching
YouTube. I'm
anymore.
still standing in front of the old St. Luke's Medical Center in Phoenix. And battery just died on my Obama phone, so I'm back to shooting on my iPhone. My apologies for the twitchy video if it's doing that. So anyway, as I was saying, this is an interesting piece of, to me, an interesting piece of history, seeing that. It's been a long time since I've seen automatic doors that have those sensors that you walk over, that sense your weight to open the door, because those have been done with optical sensors for such a long time. And it does look like this door was equipped with an optical sensor there to operate the door, although it's possible it has a security camera to catch people coming in. It looks like they had a Starbucks in here at one time too. Can I see much looking in there? Not really. Yeah, this building very much abandoned now. But wow, I walk into old places like this and something about my mind just associates memories with places, and just walking in here is just flooded, just so many memories. Like I remember sitting on this odd, almost grand piano shaped slab of concrete, but I'm drawing blanks on like why I was sitting there. Probably just waiting for a cab passenger. So sad seeing the landscape going into such disrepair, and just all those bushes that used to be really pretty, dead. Although those ferns being left to their own, I think these are ferns. Yeah, it's a little rougher than I thought it would be. But yeah, these looking pretty nice without it getting any maintenance. There's what's left of the St. Luke's MRI Center. Can't really see in the building. Oh, the lights are on inside. That's something. Now that used to be a fountain. That used to be a pretty cool fountain. It was on all the time. Now it's looking kind of nasty, and corroded. But water used to come out the top and come kind of spray down and splash into it, and then it would overflow off the sides into a pool down below. And people used to throw change into it and make a wish, and supposedly that stuff went to charity, although I did occasionally see bums reaching in there to try to grab the quarters. So, wow. Yeah, you can tell this has not been used for quite a while. Just looking at the state of the pavement. But yeah, the lights are definitely on inside. I really hope they renovate this building and it gets used for something other than just getting a bulldozer. It just makes me sad how many buildings in Phoenix just get because it doesn't seem to be in particularly bad repair, It's just old. It's just, late 60s, early 70s architecture that's just not in fashion anymore. But I don't know. I mean, this is history. This is Phoenix. This is the Phoenix I know. Now that building there, that was doctor's offices. That was built much later. I want to say late 1990s, early 2000s, which is why the architectural style doesn't really match. And of course, that building appears to be in much better shape. In fact, that building almost looks like it's still in use. Well, I can still hear the some kind of blower or something still in use in the St. Luke's building. So at least it's not completely abandoned. But yeah, this used to be a substantially busy hospital. And I don't know how long it's been closed, but it's definitely been closed for a while. On this side, medical offices. Just says medical offices. I believe the address is 525 North 18th Street. St. Luke's. Steward. Ever noticed the sign above that says Steward? The way it says St. Luke's up there kind of reminds me of the hospital in the movie Idiocracy, where it says St. God's, but then the letters don't quite line up on the building. Yeah, this building here was built much later. I'm trying to remember what used to be right here, because I do remember a time where this building wasn't here. I do dig the shade at the front. This very much seems to be still in use. Oh no, looks like we're doing some kind of construction in it. Let's say here, closed for spring break, reopening Monday, March 20th. Gateway Community College, shipping and receiving. Wow. Gateway Community College owns that building. Construction crew inside were giving me a look like, what's that guy doing? Just walking around, talking to myself, shooting video. I got a First Amendment right. If I'm trespassing, let me know. Looks like there's some kind of security approaching me from the south, so I'm gonna head towards the north. Oh, so it's for lease, JLL for lease. Speed bump. But yeah, as you can see, the parking lot is very overgrown. God, this whole chunk, this like, what do you want to say, quarter of a square mile. I haven't really gone into it in a long time, but it's just crazy the level of urban renewal that's going on in this little quarter of a square mile, bounded by Roosevelt on the north, Van Buren on the south, 20th Street on the east, and 16th Street on the west. I'm glad I took some time off to just wander through this. I enjoy this kind of stuff, and I hope y'all are enjoying the walk with me. There's a Comtrans vehicle. They're a non-emergency medical transportation provider. I'm mostly familiar with them through the mental health clinic that I use, which I always forget the name of. I always want to call it ComCare or Value Options, or one of the many choices, one of the many names that they've had over the years, because they've changed names so many times, and I really struggle when things change names. But hey, it's LifeWell. I've got an appointment card for Lisa Marie. That was my therapist, who's no longer with the company. LifeWell. Anyway, yeah, the van that just went by, Comtrans, they're the major transportation providers for LifeWell. So these are the new buildings that are going in, which hopefully that video got saved as I was driving into this area, going down Via, talking about how Deep Via Apartments was part of the woman that I had a really hot sexual fling with, and then later found out she had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend tried to kill me after a Dan Fogelberg concert. Dan Fogelberg, by the way, absolutely amazing in concert. Glad I got to see him before he passed. Yeah, these look like new buildings that have gone in where Dupavia used to be. In fact, now that I'm here and my memory's kind of coming back to me, now this is neat. Now that's a bike rack that was placed by the city of Phoenix for Grid rental bikes, and I don't think Grid is still in service anymore, but it looks like Lime is using it for their electric assist bikes, which I've been seeing around lately. So that's interesting. Nice to see it getting used, because I tell you, nobody really used those Grid bikes, although I don't see too many people using the Lime bikes either. Now this is neat. I wish Phoenix had more of these. You don't see too many of them. The bicycle route directions and signs. There's clearly Via is a designated bike route. Oh my God, my camera's shaking so bad. But yeah, 18th Street Bridge to the left, Maricopa Healthcare Center forward a mile, Gateway Community College forward 4 miles. I saw a lot of those kind of signs when I was in Portland. I thought those were pretty neat. Now I find this interesting because, as I was saying, I don't remember that building being here, but I'm kind of having trouble remembering what it was like before the building was there. But I'm thinking there was a street here, because look on the road. You can see how the crosswalks used to go at an angle. One there and one here. You can see how I'm walking in what used to be a crosswalk. It's not a crosswalk anymore. And I'm thinking, okay, so this is 18th Street, but that on the other side of the hospital, that is also, pretty sure that's 18th Street. Oh, and I'm being watched. I'm being surveilled by surveillance cameras. That's good to know. I hope I'm giving them a show. Hi, how you doing? Hi, Mom. Solar power, that's a perk. Very faded City of Phoenix yield sign. But yeah, if memory serves, they used to call the ones on this side Dupa Via East, and on that side Dupa Via West. Random memories walking through here. As messed up as my memory is, like I walk through places and just seeing them, just being in spaces, like it all kind of comes back to me. Edison East Lake, Phoenix, Arizona. Aeroterra, that's what they're calling this. It'll always be Dupa Via West to me. Oh, and we got more surveillance cameras there. You know, it's so funny to me how people get so weird when they see them walking around recording stuff. Meanwhile, they're being recorded by those cameras there. If y'all can see it, my camera's freaking the hell out. My iPhone camera is so bad. And they're being recorded by those cameras there. But yeah, let's be worried about the random guy walking around with the iPhone. And not the surveillance cameras that are literally everywhere watching your every move. Another one right there. Oh yeah, I'm always keenly aware of all the cameras around me, watching me. I've had some pretty crazy, I've had some pretty intense mental breakdowns, many of which were, all the cameras everywhere, they played largely into it. Oh, this is neat, never seen this before. Frank Luke Jr. Edition. Behind this plaque stands one of the original Frank Luke Jr. Edition public housing buildings. Like I said, this was public housing. This was housing projects. So, and I would say, looking at this architectural style, and they chose to preserve this one. But I do remember some of these style buildings here too. Much older, an older public housing than these. But this is definitely, that architecture, what's behind me is definitely the Dupa Via that I remember. And what the building was like when I had my fling with the hot woman in the trench coat. God, there's so many more details about this chick that's coming back to me. I certainly enjoyed my week with her. Frank Luke Jr. Edition. Behind this plaque stands one of the original Frank Luke Jr. Edition public housing buildings. While the interior has been remodeled to suit the owner's needs, so the fact that it says owner's needs, that tells me that it's no longer, probably no longer owned by the city of Phoenix. The exterior is much as it would have looked in the 1950s. The Frank Luke Jr. Edition public housing community was constructed in 1952 to serve the post-war need for low-income housing. The building is also significant for its ranch-style architecture, identifiable by its low-slung, long horizontal profile, which was the most prevalent style for residential architecture in post-war Phoenix. I was kind of talking about that when I was walking through Tim P. shooting video the other day. How, like, I kind of miss this architectural style as all the new gentrified buildings are going in and these style buildings are going away. Because this is the architectural style that I associate with Phoenix. This is the Phoenix that I've lived in and loved for 50 plus years. The 12-acre site was originally this 12-acre site originally consisted of 138 public housing units in 40 single-story concrete block buildings with red bar tile roofs and steel windows. The buildings were placed in a superblock configuration with a curvilinear street bisecting the property. So that would have been when Via Street was made, which is at a kind of an oddball angle. And yeah, so learn a little bit every day. That street goes back to 1952. Each residential building contained either 2 or 4 units with shared front and rear yards characterized by spacious grassy areas. Of course, it all turned to dirt by the time I started hanging out in here in the 90s. Numerous sidewalks provided pedestrian circulation and large trees grew to shade the grounds. The design was typical of the 6 low-income housing developments built by the Phoenix Housing Authority in 1941 and 1952. Earlier I was saying, I was trying to remember what it was, whether it was HUD or whatever. So it was the Phoenix Housing Authority, which probably doesn't even exist anymore. In 2011, all buildings, except the one in front of you, were demolished to make way for a new mixed-income housing community with modern amenities called AeroTerra. And I got a feeling that since it talks about where it says that this building has been remodeled to suit the owner's needs, my gut feeling is that AeroTerra is not owned by the city of Phoenix and is not owned by public housing, but is rather owned by a corporation. And when they say mixed income housing, that's kind of a code word for, I don't know, to me I see it as a form of political corruption, where they push the agenda of we're creating low income public housing, affordable housing, but in reality there's just a handful of low income rent-controlled housing units, which are managed by the city of Phoenix, which have a long, obscenely long, you're probably not going to get through it, waiting list for tenants that have to meet very specific financial criteria, and then they watch everything you do like a hawk, which by the time you get in one of those, like, you're encouraged not to make your life better, because if suddenly you land a good paying job, you're homeless. Yeah, I'm sidetracking, but that kind of stuff frustrates me. And of course it all gets, oh, this is affordable housing. No, this is corporate owned fucking people with big dollars buying property from the city of Phoenix and taking advantage of programs that ordinary people can't afford to take advantage of, to build luxury apartments that normal people can't afford to live in. And as a small sacrifice to do it, they put up these little historic plaques, and will have a handful of units that are rent controlled as public housing, as affordable housing, and then they call it mixed income housing. Mixed income housing, my ass. I guarantee you the people that are spending $2,000-ish a month for the luxury places here want all the riffraff gone. They don't want no pores in their building. But this is neat. So in my mind, that's an aerial view of what I've always known as Dupa Via West. And now I'm thinking, yeah, Dupa Via West had the old single-story buildings, and Dupa Via East was these new, more modern buildings, which I think are going to get the wrecking ball soon. I really hope they preserve at least some of them. I always thought, even though it's a housing project and this is a super sketchy area, I always liked the utilitarian architecture of those buildings, and the metal guardrails, and the how each one has its own patio, and I don't know. I always thought, like, if the people that lived in them actually paid their rent and had pride of ownership, that this could be a really nice. Like, the design is good, it's just flawed by the riffraff that lived in it. But anyway, take this aerial picture. Photo circa 1957. And there you see 18th Street on the right, Via Street on the south border running at a funky angle, and then 17th Street kind of curving through it, and then McKinley Street to the north. And then on the left side of 17th Street, more of the public housing buildings all the way to 16th Street. I do see some City of Phoenix signs here. Training room. Attention, St. Mary's Food Bank driver. Wow, apparently this building's being utilized for the St. Mary's Food Bank. That's pretty cool. Everyone must wear a mask when inside this building, this city building. Mask up, Phoenix! Mask up, Phoenix! Yeah, go fuck yourself, Mayor Kate. God, are we done with that charade? I'd like to think we're all done with that mask charade. It doesn't really accomplish anything. I think everybody knows that at this point. Anyway, back to Dupa Via East. see a vehicle parked inside it, so apparently there's some construction crews going on here. Oh yeah, we got construction crews on this side. Yeah, it looks like they're gutting the building versus demolishing the building. Maybe they are going to renovate it. I hope so. I've always liked the architecture of these buildings. Well, we have an open gate here. Oh yeah, I can kind of see into this one. It does look like they're gutting them and then leaving the cinder block and stone front architecture. I've always loved that. That's been there as long as I can remember too. The whole stone front. I mean, all the new buildings going in, like, bet anything, these ones behind me, the Aero Terra, are just stucco on sticks. Like, all that nice finish on it is just over wood frame construction. That stuff isn't built to last. Whereas these buildings, they might be trash, but that cinder block structure, that's going to survive the apocalypse. It really is. And I don't dare go any farther into this. I'm definitely on surveillance camera. There are work crews working right now. But this is really neat. Yeah, they're definitely gutting these buildings. They're going to do something with that. Something with the... And that one's open and being worked on too. Yeah, they're definitely getting ready to do something with the cinder block buildings. So I really, really hope they're going to renovate these into nice apartments. Yeah, look at that one. Not at all. I can hear them clanking around inside. I can see right through that one. I always thought the design of these were great. They have front doors and back doors and front lawns that could be nice but never were. They're always so trash. Yeah, Aero Terra doesn't interest me. There it is. Let's keep walking this way. So that complex there, that used to be... I remember going there to get food stamps or some shit quite some time ago. That used to be all, you see it's all fenced off and closed now, but that used to be a large DES office. And I do remember going there a few times for some different stuff, but kind of escapes me now. What? Look at that nice mature tree. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we got construction crews on this side of it, definitely. Oh, look at that. Banging and clanging and doing some work, gutting those buildings. Getting ready to do something with it. So I'm on the north side of Duplavia. You see the hospital on the other side. Some construction workers inside there. Well, nice to see something actively happening on this side of it, because on the other side it just looked like it was fenced over and forgotten. And interestingly enough, this street is not lined with no parking signs, like Via Street is now. Building number 8, 583 through 590. And those unit numbers were actually addresses as well. That's 583 through 590. I believe it would be north, 583, 590 North 18th Street. Because I remember coming in here as a cab driver, I'd get an address and it'd be like, and I'd get that address, I'd be like, oh shit, that's Duplavia. And this one here, you can see the address on it. 1855 East McKinley, apartment 577. Oh no, I take it back. No, those numbers are apartment numbers. This had a McKinley address. I can see it on the mailbox. So yeah, building numbers and apartment numbers, the address being McKinley. Stand corrected there. Ooh, somebody's headphones totally demolished. Partially demolished. Let's see if I can do something with that. So I got this plan to turn a Amazon toque that I saw on eBay. Hopefully it's still available for sale. I want to try to embed little speakers, little Bluetooth speakers inside of it. And these might be the speaker drivers that I use for it. These look like they'd be perfect for the project. Stolen shopping cart. Ow, damn it. She just grabbed my fucking hair. Stolen shopping cart. Homeless people love moving those things around. Entrance to another parking lot for Dubovia East. You can see those new buildings going up in the distance that are all being made out of wood, so I don't expect they're going to last 50 plus years like these buildings I'm walking next to have. And here you can see where this street used to go through. I believe that's 18th Street, although it might be 18th Place to the south. In fact, it probably is 18th Place to the south, which went in front of the hospital I was walking by, the old Phoenix St. Luke's Hospital. And here you see where it goes to the north, but when Dubovia East was built, they cut through traffic on that street off, but you could still go through with that parking lot, sort of. So many memories of just trying to find apartments here, and then other cab drivers are like, "Oh my God, you take those Dubovia calls?" I'm like, just gotta walk through it. Gotta walk through the project with a sense of purpose. Oh, my bad. It's 19th Street. We're at 19th Street in McKinley right now. And those are more brand new apartments there to the north. And I think it's the same kind of thing, where it's mixed income housing, where you've got a handful of rent controlled, wait on a list with the city of Phoenix, quote unquote affordable housing units. And then a whole bunch of luxury apartments absolutely nobody can afford. Kind of trippy seeing Dubovia all boarded up like this. I like that mural. It's kind of the hint of, look, minorities graduating, you should try to do that. As I try to focus on it, my camera goes nuts. Oh, my camera's getting so bad in this iPhone. Didn't want to shoot video with it, but my battery died on Obama Phone 3, so. Too bad I didn't double back and get that $20 tablet. I could be shooting video with it. Although, let's be real, I would have left that in my car and I wouldn't have brought it with me. I do like the architecture of this. I just got mixed feelings. Like, I like this, but I miss what was here. It makes me sad that whatever was here before didn't get renovated. But I like the new structure, especially dig the mural and that kind of front going on with the metal there. That's kind of cool looking. But I'm not fond of the fact that it's likely underneath that it's just stucco on wood construction, because that stuff sucks. Welcome to Edison Park, established in 1970. 901 North 19th Street. So I'd be willing to bet that 1970 was probably when Dubovia East was built, and those style buildings, our architecture kind of screams 1970. I'm not sure what that circle is for, but it's pretty. It'd be a fun area to rollerblade. I'll tell you, 30 years ago, this would have been not a very safe park to walk through. Looks like the city of Phoenix doing a lot of work on it right now, though. City of Phoenix vehicles there, and more of them there. A guy with a leaf blower over there. Some more City of Phoenix vehicles there. And those shade structures look pretty new. As does the playground. This park actually looks very well maintained now. But yeah, this city park was built as part of Dubovia. As you can see, there were entrances. They went from the park directly into the projects, into the housing projects. You see another one's walkways, totally overgrown. There are not work crews here working on these buildings, but these buildings look freshly painted over here. So maybe, just maybe, these are ones that they're done with, that they've already gutted the insides out of and painted. Then again, probably not, because I see a boarded up window and I see a screen hanging off the side. Now there's a nice relic of a past time. You never see those kind of monkey bars anymore. In fact, am I even allowed to say monkey bars? I think the term monkey bars is racist now. That's what they called that when I was a kid and would have been playing on that in the mid-1970s. Those were called monkey bars. And I did quite enjoy climbing to the top and sitting at the very top and just watching the other kids play from the top of the monkey bars. I've always been one that likes to watch. Although I think I have more than just watching in store for me if I take that trip to Dallas Fort Worth. And there's another entrance from the park to the housing project. Dig those walls, and those would have been the back doors. As I was trying to say earlier, all the Dupavia projects, if you were on the top floor, you only had the front door, but if you were in a bottom floor, you had a front door and a back door. Then you had the parking behind it. But in the parking would all be near the back doors, like right there. That's where the parking was. I hope y'all can hear me over the equipment. But yeah, the parking was in the back doors and kind of obscured. And then the front, it had the potential to be so nice, but it was always just dirt. I don't remember ever being anything other than dirt. And these trees always look super straggly. And they look super scraggly now, but they do seem to be thriving. I'm sure all this rain that we've had lately has been really good for it. I mean, these are desert trees anyway. They don't need a whole lot of rain to survive. Two birds just chilling. I mean, the concept is walkable community, walkable rent-controlled community for the poor, with a nice park to the front. Ooh, ouch. That didn't sound good. And there you see how the stairs went up to the entrances. So the entrance doors for the upstairs apartments were in that little enclosed area there. And then the front doors were for the private patios. So many memories of Dupavia East. I mean, not just the girl I had to fling with the trench coat. God, she was so hot. But also other times hanging out in Dupavia with people telling that as a cab driver. Oh, and here you can see somebody's ripped through the chain link. Yeah, there are definitely people squatting in there. Wow, and there's another image of a bygone era. And swamp cooler hanging out the back end of that one. Yeah, I do remember Dupavia only had swamp coolers, so the second half of the summer it was pretty miserable inside. More than monkey bars. God, if I had my own house in a backyard, I would try to get my hands on one of those to put in my backyard. And you just don't see anything like that in modern playgrounds because it's not safe. We're going to see City of Phoenix curfew ordinance. City of yeah, this place was like so out of hand that they put the curfew ordinance on the side of the building. Like, hey, all you teenagers, all you young ethnic poor teenagers with single mamas, you can't be hanging out here after a certain time. It's posted. That's a pretty new style park sign right there, though. This park's being really well maintained. I like that. I certainly have some memories of this park being really sketchy, and homeless people in this park before homeless people in parks were such an issue. City of Phoenix definitely keeping the homeless people out of this park. I wish I could say the thing for the park near me. And there's one of those 1970s, 1980s style City of Phoenix park signs. Cast cement. Madison Park. I love walking around old neighborhoods like this when I got time to kill. Of course, I'm losing my not being blinded by the sun can crushing time in my storage, but whatever. This was entertaining. I'm gonna try to enjoy this weekend and not get sidetracked by the so-called girlfriend. Wow, way to drive on the wrong side of the double yellow line. Did y'all get that? That guy was straight up driving on the wrong side of the double yellow line. Awesome. Yeah, that modern playground sure looks nice, but miss those old school monkey bars. What's the old school swing sets that you could launch yourself 20 feet up in the air off of? And yeah, kids did break their arms and their legs, but you know what? We had fun playing in those things back in the 70s and 80s. That's the intersection at 20th Street and Roosevelt. And as you can see, there used to be a traffic light here. You see the poles, the 1960s, 1970s style traffic light. You still see it there. Still see it there. Now there's the new style City of Phoenix Street sign there, the rectangular ones. But that's an old school City of Phoenix Street sign. The way it says 20th Street. Not a whole lot of those left. They've mostly been replaced by the light-up ones with a little finger symbol on them. So yeah, there used to be a traffic light here. I do recall the traffic light still being here when I started as a cab driver in August of 1992. We got a bus shelter there. Route 10 runs down this portion of Roosevelt Street. That street sign not looking so good. It's kind of falling apart. The old street signs that say Roosevelt Street, they're gone. But I remember there used to be one there. Alright, look at that guy. He just stopped. And he just stopped where there's not a stop sign. There's not a stop sign on Roosevelt Street. It's just a stop sign on 20th Street. See? Stop signs. Stop signs for 20th Street. Memorial, because some pedestrian got themselves plowed by a car here. There's a lot of that happens. And motor vehicles are definitely a big killer of people these days, but nobody wants to face that music. It's a newer style bus shelter. And but yeah, as you see, there is no stop sign here. And those cars doing what they're supposed to do, just driving right through the intersection. But yeah, that's how it was sitting there. Guy stopped for the non-existent stop sign, and the other guy stopped directly behind him. And then once he went forward and he got to the intersection, he stopped too. So this is kind of exciting. This used to be, I believe, a paper company in that building there. And I can see construction workers working on it. So somebody's bought this building and is getting ready to renovate it into something, which is a good thing because it's been sitting empty and getting destroyed by the elements for quite some time. And I dig the architecture. I don't know what you'd call it, but you can see where it's got the curves, got the neat curves and the curves on the awning. And I got a feeling it might not survive this renovation, but in the middle of the forward-facing part, those are glass bricks, which look like shit as some of them are smashed out and they've been painted over, but I love the look of glass bricks when they're maintained. Yeah, Phoenix Paper Company or something used to be there. Cinder block fence, that's just recently added. In fact, it looks like they're still working on it. Kind of a bummer. There was a sign right on the corner that still had the name of it. I think it was Phoenix Paper Company. They used to sit on like, oh, there goes a Waymo self-driving car. Didn't give a good enough look at it to see if it was driving, if it was an occupier. What's up? Wow, somebody's still driving a Geo Metro. Nice. Guy gave me a hella goofy look. Hopefully I can freeze frame and get a good image of that. Yeah, the sign gone. I think it's Phoenix Paper Company or something. And I've probably got another vlog where I have an image of it because I do come by here every now and then. But it was a really unique kind of sign, and it was up kind of high, and it was definitely not in line with current sign code. So kind of tragic that got taken down because they could have used grandfather clause to keep it there. So I'm walking northbound on what's left of 20th Street from Roosevelt. When I was a teenager, and before I was a teenager, it was a through street. You used to be able to go all the way north on 20th Street from here, like all the way up to past, well, I think all the way up to past Indian School, maybe all the way to Camelback. It's a newer building. It's being well maintained. Fire and Water International Church. Yeah, when the mini stack freeway interchange was built there, and that's the interchange of I-10, Loop 202, and the 51. When that interchange was built, this sidewalk got put here, and this street got narrowed down because it used to be a 4-lane road, 2 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound, plus parking lanes. Yeah, they narrowed the street. This new sidewalk here, put gravel on the side, and a chain link fence on the other side of the chain link fence. That's all ADOT land. And while this land here on the right is pretty sure City of Phoenix land, this was all built by ADOT. This looks like part of the Fire and Water Church. Almost definitely. What's that sign say? Fire and Water International Church Life Center. This used to be apartments. Perhaps they still are. Boy, that's quite some ironworks over those windows. Yeah, we are still very much in the hood. That's beyond bars on the window. That's just straight up iron grills on the window, prison style. Only speculate what they're doing with those old apartment buildings as part of a church. Hopefully it's transitional housing for people. I'm hoping that's what it is. Sometimes churches provide that, and I feel like churches, even though there are definitely strings attached getting that kind of assistance from a church, but I feel like the strings attached from churches are a little less restrictive than the strings attached on similar programs from the government. I hope y'all can hear me, because in the helicopter and the freeway traffic, just a loud corner. 20th Street in Portland. And the last time I drove down Portland using it as a through street to avoid traffic, there was a cop sitting right here. Looked like he was waiting for somebody to use this as a street to avoid traffic and write them a speeding ticket, but I wasn't speeding. Same kind of thing with Portland. On the right, you've got landscaping put in here by ADOT when I-10 was built, but it used to be houses. In fact, there's several articles I've read on the internet about how this neighborhood was destroyed by the building of freeways. I mean, yeah, it's kind of true, but this neighborhood was pretty damn destroyed before they started building the freeways. This was very much a sketchy ghetto area then. I don't know that I've ever walked through here. This is really neat, especially that hole. Is that a glory hole? Just kidding. That's I-10 right there. It's a view of I-10 I've never seen. That's pretty cool. The I-10 curve. It's definitely a view of this intersection that I've never had before. Maricopa County Hospital off in the distance. I don't know if y'all caught it. I did notice it in one of my vlogs being mentioned on the news in the background. And I think all I said about it was that's interesting, but I didn't even say what I was calling interesting. But they said that they were going to be building a new hospital there. And I haven't looked online to dive any deeper into that story. But they said they were going to be building a new hospital there, and it was replacing the over 50-year-old facility, which that building there off in the distance, that is the over 50-year-old facility. And you know, in some ways it's in pretty rough shape, but that, I still feel it's one of the best hospitals in Arizona, even though it has the reputation for being the welfare hospital. We got an empty lot there, but I don't see any for sale signs. I also don't see any City of Phoenix signs, so some private owner is sitting on that, waiting for it to appreciate in value, as opposed to the City of Phoenix waiting for it to appreciate in value. Ooh, and a sketchy reminder of the old irrigation system, which is under our feet most everywhere in Phoenix, at least in older parts of Phoenix. All right, somebody was chilling here having some Coronas. Oh, those bottles certainly tell a story. But what is the story? Homeless person throwing one back? There's a lot more than one. Throwing several back. Couple of homeless people throwing several back. Young couple hanging out, throwing some beers back together because they both live with their parents still and want a little private time to throw some beers back. Maybe some underage drinking going on. Wow, that's quite the custom car. Somebody is clearly using that smashed-in Lexus as their daily driver. Wow. That makes my wrecked Lexus look good. Although my wrecked Lexus is considerably older than that one. I should ask Rob about my damn wrecked Lexus, because I ain't seen it in a minute. He told me he's got it at one of his other lots, but I don't know where the hell it is. There's a really nice turntable sitting in the goddamn backseat of that thing. Ooh, I like that old Chevy. That's the style of car. Not the Corvette. It's a potentially cool Corvette too. But the I was talking about the Caprice Classic. No, it's two-door Caprice Classic. So my fleet of cabs that I had back in the 1990s were all that. Well, most of them were that style of Chevy, but of course four-door versions. I think those taillights makes it an 84. That was the main thing, is they changed the style of taillight like every year. I think that's a 80, 82, 83, 84, somewhere in there with that style of taillight. Boy, that vet sure got some potential. And it does look like somebody is actively working on it too. I would imagine probably whoever owns this shop here. Mechanic on duty. Warning, security cameras. I sure hope so. Fernando's alignment. So weird seeing just the street stoplight poles and the little poles sticking out for the old style support bars. And the old style street sign just kind of peeling away from age. At least these people are all clear that there's no stop sign there. Although they're not yielding for the pedestrian trying to use the crosswalk. But could they tell I was trying to use a crosswalk, or am I just walking around with a phone in front of my face? There's more of the underground canals. This one definitely looks to still be in use. Oh yeah, that's a recent lot. Oh yeah, there's water down there. I don't hear it moving though. A lot of times when you walk by these, you can see them in use. These are the new style Phoenix City park signs. Edison Park, established 1970, 901 North 19th Street. You know, granted, those style signs are a lot more informative. Very clearly a bike lane here. Bike lane. But I do like those old cast style signs. Those are way cooler to me. Eager to see how this building on the left gets renovated. I wish I could remember. I want to say Phoenix Paper Company or something like that. But yeah, that cinder block wall, that's brand new. And the chain link, that's obviously a temporary construction fence. Of course, seeing the cinder block wall kind of makes me feel a little bit sad, because whatever they're renovating that into, they're planning on hiding it behind a wall, as opposed to making it an open and inviting part of the community. As this community rapidly changes, it gets gentrified. These fancy new apartments on the left. And whatever is being done to Duke of Via East. I initially said I thought I was going to get the wrecking ball, but after seeing construction crews working over on the west end of it, I don't think so. I think they're going to get renovated somehow. How's it going? Yeah, I think they're going to renovate them. So I got all those cars parked in the bike lane. See, there's parking on this side. You can see there's a space between the parking lane and the bike lane. Of course, these are the kind of parking lanes that are deadly for cyclists, because the person getting out of that vehicle. No parking begun. via parking. Just about back to my car. Hopefully it's still just fine. Yeah, this is where I started. Out of service. Fire plug. No parking. God, I love that big old eucalyptus tree. That's awesome. Yeah, I see here you got a... I think that's a Lexus. I think that's a Lexus logo, emblem. I don't know what the hell that emblem is. So yeah, there's several videos on the internet where, I mean, here you can see these cars are partially in the bike lane anyway. But the problem with bike lanes, with parking lanes adjacent to them like that, this person flying really fast in the bike lane, people who step out of the doors when they park don't look for bikes in the bike lane. And they will open those doors right in front of a bike that's flying along at 25 miles per hour. And it looks extremely painful for the cyclist when it happens. I saw a video earlier this week, I think it was on Reddit, where somebody was in a bike lane like that, and a car opened the door and just nailed the cyclist hard with the door right as he was riding by the door, and it knocked him off his bike into the air, and he landed in front of like a semi-truck, which ran him over. And thankfully the semi-truck had high enough clearance that it didn't kill the dude, and he managed to climb out from under it. But holy shit, that was a horrific looking video. And yeah, I definitely would like to see this particular arrangement of parking lane adjacent to bicycle lane. I would love to see that made illegal. Not that I don't support biking lanes. I don't support any kind of traffic that is potentially dangerous, that dangerous for cyclists. You know what, actually, part of me is thinking I need to get that angel food cake in the fridge, but then I realized it wasn't in a refrigerated, it wasn't refrigerated, it was, oh, what groceries do I have that are refrigerated? That wrap, I'm ready to eat that. I do have a couple microwave burritos. At this point they probably thawed out, so I should put them in the fridge rather than the freezer. Oh, wow, I can't believe I've wasted 52 minutes since I was at the hospital. Since I was at the hospital, that's not even counting how much video I shot between getting out of the car and walking to the hospital and building my battery on my Obama phone. That's all right. I got a charger here for the Obama phone, and it's powering up. ANS, powered by Android. I don't know if y'all can see that. This cord's kind of short. Oh, now it's just showing the battery thing. But there's an animation, so I can see it's charging. I need to definitely turn the heat off in here, and the defrost, I don't need that anymore, and it's already getting warm in here. Still got my, oh yeah, that hits the spot. I still got my Mountain Dew Sip and Save drink. Still got ice in it. Now this is kind of neat. So as I said before, this was a neighborhood before that giant freeway interchange was built, and 3 freeways proceeded to cut through it. And I always thought it was kind of neat how those side streets going east from 20th Street, many of them are still there, but they don't go anywhere. You got like a half block and then they just cut them off. Didn't even make cul-de-sacs, they just cut them off. Nothing on that street. I can't see what that street is. I want to say it's Garfield, but I don't think it is. You can't really see the street sign from right here. Okay, that looks... Oh, man! I'm shooting my phone with the camera facing the wrong way. I gotta put and I'm back. Just had to flip the phone. You know, I'll do that with the iPhone when I'm shooting video and I'm walking. I'll have the camera in the upper left-hand corner, which is, I think, the normal way to shoot horizontal video. But I know that if I'm using my phone mount in the car, it needs to be flipped in the other direction with the camera in the lower right-hand corner, so it's not obstructed by the phone mount when I shoot video. So. Gale Contractor Services now hiring.
Safety culture, competitive pay, excellent benefits. www.trueteam.com. And as you can see, when they park those large commercial vehicles in this little parking lane next to the bicycle lane, it obstructs part of the parking lane, or part of the bicycle lane. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the safe way to build proper bike lanes is bike lane, physical barrier, parking lane, traffic lane. Putting a bike lane between parked cars and through traffic is just a dangerous thing. Wow, and those large trucks are not blocking the parking lane nearly as much as that pickup truck. And I'm sure all these vehicles here, construction crew for those new residential buildings going in on the right, that are all being made out of sticks. There's another street that got cut off, Fillmore Street. Fillmore Street is the the quarter mile street that exists halfway between Van Buren and there's Taylor. It's another one of the many streets that got cut off when they built the freeway there. I just find it so neat how these little stubs of the streets exist on the left. And there's Polk. Again, same thing. Goes a half block and just ends. Yeah, Fillmore is the quarter mile street between Van Buren and Roosevelt. And now I'm on Van Buren, 300 north in the city of Phoenix. That used car lot on the right, that used to be a Circle K. Really shocked when Circle K pulled out over it. Oh yeah, we got more Lime bikes on bike racks that were put in for grid. A Lime scooter under the underpass there on the right. And there's another Lime scooter on the right. Boy, Lime is really hitting Phoenix hard right now. Yeah, maybe I should look for some part-time employment with Lime. Oh, the El Capri looks out of business now. That makes me sad. Now, I always wanted to go in there and see what it would be like as a white guy to party in the El Capri. Even though my Spanish is really, really bad to non-existent. Just because as a cab driver, I always got so many fares out of there. Like, I would roll through that parking lot in the evening. People would flag me down. And, do I speak Spanish? No, not really. But I speak enough to drive a cab in Arizona. I'd get those people home where they needed to go. I'd give them a nice, comfortable, safe ride in my taxi. And they'd usually tip me pretty nice. And the Latinas that went in there were always so hot looking and dressed up. I don't think I ever picked up an unattractive woman coming out of that little club, the El Capri. Yeah, never did it. And now I'm an old guy, so. On the left used to be the Contiki Hotel. I was talking about that the other day. So many memories on this part of town. The one time I got mugged and stabbed in a cab, it was because I was dumb enough to pick up somebody who flagged me down at what was the Rallies just south of here on 24th Street. Looks like it's now a pancetta? Oh, some kind of ex-Betos type drive-through. But it used to be a Rallies. Yeah, two guys flagged me down there, and then they just went a couple blocks. And I know I've mentioned this one in my blog before. They said they were going to 24th Street in Van Buren, and that should have been a red flag. I should have asked them more questions before going forward. But yeah, they just basically directed me onto a dark street. They proceeded to rob. Damn, I forget the name of the prison on the left. That's actually Arizona State Department of Corrections. That's not like a long-term prison. That's basically where, when you first go to prison, that's where they take you to classify you and decide where they're gonna house you. Damn, I know what that little prison is called, and now I'm drawing a complete blank. Slow down and let this guy pass me, because he seems to be in a hurry, and I'm just sightseeing. Blue Moon. It's a full new strip club on the right. Got a lot of interesting memories from that place as well. It's really bugging me. I can't remember what the hell the name of that prison is. I've been there. You know, my memories of being there are really pleasant. I was sick as fuck when I went through there. I just had a really nasty cold or flu or something. And I've had time. All right, we got a jaywalker running directly in front of me. Go get your bus, girl. Gosh, she's all dressed up like she's freezing cold. I'm just in jeans t-shirt and a safety vest. You know, maybe that's why people weren't fucking with me that much walking around with the camera the way I often do when I walk through areas like that. I'm still wearing my safety vest. I probably look like part of the construction crew. I'm thinking I'm taking video for the project over there at Dupavia. How my safety vest is such a part of me when I'm at Amazon. A lot of times after I roll out of there, I don't think to take it off till I get home, and I ain't made it home yet. Shit, at this point, I've spent more time wandering around than I think I actually spent at work today. A Lime scooter on the right. You know, I was really planning on working on recycling today, but it's 9:13 plus 5 minutes, so 9:18 p.m. Ooh, wow, somebody plowed through the fence there on the left. Did y'all see that? It amazes me how much damage ooh, they're doing some interesting construction on the power lines up there. It never ceases to amaze me, like, the damage that I see so far off the road. Like, how bad were you driving that you ended up that far off the road, plowing through fences and buildings? Damn. Yeah, I was really wanting to work on my recycling like 2 hours ago, but now more Lime scooters. Yeah, I'm thinking I should just head home. I shot such a ridiculous amount of video. So much for catching up on all of that. Memory serves, this left turn arrow just comes on whether there's somebody sitting on the sensors or not. Or was it the one to turn left onto Van Buren from northbound 40th Street? I'm not sure. And I still don't know because there was a vehicle behind me that triggered the other sensor. So maybe they are working. Wow, that is a big vehicle too. It's like a giant RV pulling a huge ass trailer. There goes another Waymo vehicle. Hey, there's something I could do to pass the time today. That would be fun. I could install Waymo 1 back on my phone. Actually, I might still have Waymo 1 installed on my phone, on my iPhone. Hell, it might be installed on the Obama phone, because the Obama phone number 4 has every app that was previously installed on Obama phone number 3. Just sitting on it. I don't think I've deleted anything off of it. In fact, the only thing I can think offhand that I've deleted off of it to free space was Facebook, which didn't get transferred from Obama 3 to Obama phone 3 to Obama phone 4. Facebook ended up on it because I got a push through message saying these apps were installed by these recommended apps were installed by your cell phone carrier. Yeah, quit recommending Facebook for me, to me. I don't want it. No interest in that. Kind of waiting for that giant RV to pass me, but as much as I slow down, it seems to be slowing down. So maybe he's wanting to change lanes. Maybe he's just lost. Oh, these buildings on the right here. I don't think these are ever projects, but they're actually looking a lot nicer now. The buildings on the right, there's a couple rows of them. They're apartments, condos, what have you. Each building is a fourplex. I keep coming back to the chick with the trench coat, whose name I absolutely can't remember, who I had a fling with in like late 1991, or maybe it was early 1992. I don't know. I'd have to Google. I'd have to Google when the Dan Fogelberg concert was to put it all together. But anyway, yeah, that. You know, and the funny thing is, I'm trying to. It's just my affair with her is just like coming back, in my memory so strong, as I just keep passing these places that remind me of her. Anyway, yeah, the first night we hooked up, we got it on in these buildings on the left here, not these ones. Architectural styles difference on these. So these ones, the ones closer to 40th Street. Although we were in, what's interesting, on the other side of the street has no parking signs on it. All right, let's go. Let's roll through the hood. Oh, it says dead end. Oops, I was thinking I could use this for through traffic. Whoopsie. It's one of the few trailer parks that's still in Phoenix. So many developers keep buying up Phoenix trailer parks and putting in like luxury condos or mid-rise luxury apartments. And while the people that own these mobile homes own their mobile homes, most of them do, they don't own the property it's sitting on. And most of these people are so butt-ass poor, although looking at the vehicles here. See, I thought it was going through to the park right there. I thought that was a thoroughfare, but it's not. I thought it was connected. So it's actually two separate mobile home parks. Learn something new each day. But no, there's no mobile home park on the right at this alignment at McDowell Road, because it's directly across the street from, you can see it from the Wander Inn, which is kind of my favorite neighborhood bar. I just assumed it was one mobile home park that went through, but there's actually two of them, separated by that chain link fence that I made the U-turn. Anyway, so the bulk of these people, they own their mobile home. God, there's some very expensive SUVs in these parking spots, though. Of course, it's easy for a person who's broke to get a loan on an expensive new car. Look at that, Camaro convertible, damn, and a big ass full-size pickup truck. Yeah, it's really easy for somebody with like moderate credit and a job to get a loan on a new car that they really can't afford than it is for them to get a nice home. Oh, look at that. Big ouch on their pretty new truck. See, some very expensive vehicles in this otherwise kind of sketchy mobile home park. And that lady walking looks pretty homeless. Then again, maybe not. What's up, baby? Just kind of gave me a look and a smile. I wouldn't accuse her of being hot, but she could be the best weekend I've had in a while. Just throwing that out there. A few random residential streets in this area. Anyway, so yeah, those apartments to the south there. It wasn't actually in the buildings there. It was one of the buildings that was facing on the south end of that area development. One of the buildings facing Portland Street. But yeah, the first time we got it on, we went there. But I met her at my house. I used to have a house on, I've mentioned this on this vlog several times, I used to have a house on Sweetwater between 33rd and 35th Avenues. And God, my first year of living there just kind of felt like a non-stop party. It was like the house party that never ended. Because you know, I was 21 and I just wanted to have friends. Darn it. But yeah, I had a rather like a revolving door of young, attractive women coming in and out of my house. I didn't have to go looking for women; they came to me. And so I met the hot chick with the trench coat at my house. Met her at my house. All right, I'm gonna change lanes. I keep going straight. Keep going forward, dude. Come on now. met her at my house, and her and I kind of clicked, and then we went back to the master bedroom, which was my bedroom and kind of my private space, and sat there and listened to records and listened to tapes. Hell, we might have even listened to a CD. Wow, I'm just now getting memories of the CD player I had back then. As I started fresh, like when I came back to Phoenix in the end of '91, I had just been completely screwed over by my roommates. They ditched me in Las Vegas with absolutely everything I owned packed up in their van. We were all moving to Phoenix together. The plan was that I had a house waiting and they could be my roommates. And they saw fit to just ditch me in Vegas and steal all my stuff, including my cat Tigger. It's Tigger with 5 R's. Yeah. They took Tigger, took all my stuff, all my tapes, all my records, all my stereo equipment, all my neat promotional stuff from early years in radio. And I arrived here with pretty much the clothes on my back. In fact, I wouldn't have even made it here if it wasn't for my mother saving my ass. She Western Union me enough money to eat breakfast and take a cab to the airport. And which now that I'm older, I realize I could have walked to, but anyway, yeah, take a ride to the airport and a plane ticket to get me from Vegas to Phoenix. And I arrived here with nothing. Mom picked me up at the Sky Harbor, just south of here. But it wasn't too long after that I moved into that house, and the grand plans of just taking it over. Well, scooter I took a ride on Friday is still here. Wow, and it looks like the landscapers completely mowed around it. Boy, I bet that was awkward. I feel bad. I know that guy too. Glad he finally got to the lawn on this side of the complex, because it was looking pretty crappy when I walked by the other day. Oh, maybe about 2 months it'll be warm enough to enjoy that pool. I haven't used it in the last couple of years. Yeah, anyway, I arrived with just nothing but clothes on my back. But by the time I met the chick with the trench coat, it looks like dude's trying to put his fence back together. By the time I met Trench Coat Girl, I was kind of getting myself together in the house on Sweetwater. I'd put together a new stereo system, and I had acquired some music. Working 3 jobs, better acquire something. I was working at Church's Fried Chicken and Burger King and Little Caesars Pizza. I quickly found out that I wasn't going to get myself a radio job this time around. I also quickly found out that I had no chance whatsoever of getting my getting much of a job in radio from there without a car. And I was just too far away, and trying to ride the bus from there to where radio stations was located was pretty much a impossible dream. But I quickly got 3 fast food jobs and was working my ass trying to pay that mortgage, and then rented out the rooms, which most of those people just ripped me off, but whatever, I was young and stupid. But I sure hooked up with a lot of young, attractive women then. Like I said, they came to me. But yeah, a trench coat girl came into my room, and I remember the first CD player I got after I moved to Phoenix in '91. I found it. I think I found it in a dumpster, or sitting by a dumpster, and I hooked it up. And keep in mind, CD players in 1991 were still pretty expensive. It wasn't like something you just go to a thrift store and buy for $5. Yeah, 1991 CD players were expensive, and the CD player worked, sort of. In fact, this is the first CD player I think I ever really attempted to repair. The drawer didn't work. It wouldn't open and close and load CDs like it was supposed to. It just straight up did not work. And I never managed to get it to work. I tried a couple tricks to make it to work, but I just couldn't seem to get it to work. But what did work was the CD player itself. As long as I would get the door fully closed, the drawer, that loads the CDs in, as long as it was fully pushed closed, I could get it to slide into the lower position, because when you close those drawers, it doesn't really drop, but like there's a couple of little like feet, like springy type feet that the CD floats on. And when I got it down, those would lower a little bit, and then the CD spindle comes up and spins the disc. And as long as I had the drawer all the way closed, I could never get the damn drawer to work. But as long as I had it closed and I had the lid, the metal, top off the component, I could put a CD in it by hand and stick it on the spindle like you would put a record on a turntable, or put a disc in a Discman. Pretty good comparison, like top loading type thing. And then I would have to put the now of course there's a weight that's part of the mechanism of the drawer that lowers down and stabilizes the disc on top of the disc. And of course I couldn't put a disc in with the drawer closed with that piece there. So I had that piece removed. I had taken the screws out of it, but I had the piece. But I could put a disc in it and then stick that piece on top of, oh my goodness, I got a hot neighbor jogging by. Nice. Thanks for that, ma'am. Nice to see attractive women working on your fitness. Showing skin. Thank you for that. So anyway, yeah, that will cause me to lose my train of thought. So I could put a disc in it on the spindle and then drop that piece, the top piece that, the weight that stabilizes that it would normally kind of, when the spindle would go up, that it would press the disc into, which was part of the, above where the tray is. This should make sense to you if you've ever actually opened a CD player and tried to work on one. If you've never opened a CD player, it probably just sounds nonsensical, but just roll with me here. Anyway, I could put that piece on. I had taken the screws off of it, so it was removable, but I could just put it back in place. Didn't have to screw it back in place, just physically set it there. And then power up the player. It couldn't be powered on when I did all this stuff, or it would give errors and cause problems, but I could put that piece in place and then hit the power button, and it would spin the disc, read the table of contents, and it would play that disc without flaw. But damned if I could get that fucking door mechanism to work. Tried and tried and tried. And eventually I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I just went through one of the most terrible passages of my life, and I lost everything, and now it's just a couple months later, and I got me a CD player. This will do till the next CD player comes along. And what I ended up doing was using I used a drill, and I drilled a few holes, and I used a hacksaw blade and hacksaw, and I cut a nice, neat little square in the lid of the player. I made it a top-loading player. And then I put like some little trim around it to cover up the serrated edges, because I don't want to cut my fingers on the metal putting discs in and out, because God knows I tend to get pretty hammered back in those days while playing that CD player. And then the weight part, I kind of wrap the edges of it with black electrical tape to make it look a little more cosmetic. And my routine for loading discs in that, you got a big, nice square, but I made it look kind of neat, hole on the top of it. Made it a top loader. So it sat on top of my receiver. Turntable sat next to it. Actually, I'm not quite sure if I had a turntable yet. I don't think I had a turntable yet. I think I just had a cassette deck, and I had that CD player and had a receiver. But anyway, and then I had that one piece, and I just basically I would, whenever I changed discs, I'd reach in, pull that piece out, and set it on the metal, put the disc in, then lay that piece back on top of it, and hit power on the player, and that's how I used it. And Trenchcoat girl seemed pretty impressed by it, because I didn't have a lot of CDs, but the stuff I had was good, and she was digging it. And And she had a car. She had a pretty nice car. I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was a pretty nice car. And then we went to what I thought was her place. Come to find out it was the boyfriend who later tried to kill me. But yeah, her place down in Dupa, or actually, her place. I remember getting it on with her at Dupa Via East, but I don't remember whose place it was, the story on that. But I do remember we went to what I thought was her place, but I guess it was the place she shared with her boyfriend. And she didn't mention nothing about no boyfriend. But yeah, over there on Portland Street, off of 40th Street. So wild, like all these, this is all like 1991, 1992, and now it's like 2023, and I'm just a couple miles away from all of that. Anyway, thanks for, if you actually watched all of this, thank you. This is the most I've talked to myself on this stupid vlog in a while. But I'm going to go inside, chill, put my groceries away, see if that broken set of headphones that I found, oh, it's a generic too, Boom. That's the brand name. Boom. Never heard of that. I'm sure it's complete crap. But you know what? I'm not going for sound quality with this. I'm going for a toque that has the Amazon logo on it that nobody would question me wearing, that plays music, but doesn't cover my ears. I'm sure my coworkers will be thoroughly amused by it. And since it's not going to cover my ears in any way, I don't see. I think Dustin will be. I'll share it with him, my area manager. I'm not sharing it with the guys in safety. I'm sure they would have issue with it, but I just don't think they'll notice it. I want to make this a really clever little install if I get it built. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on the drive and the walk and the journey and the adventure and letting me spit out my stories about weirdness in the past and lovers of days gone by and angry, jealous, so-called boyfriends.